So what we've got here is the 4 sounds. And each of those 4 sounds plus the delay is going out of one of the separate outputs at the back. You can see I've got 5 things connected. And if we look down here, this is called the 1/4" jack section. And out of that we've got the output from the kick drum, got the output from the bass, the snare drum, the hi-hat, and then the delay as well. And if I took those off, it'd look a lot clearer straight away. But let's start off with the hi-hat. And while I'm just holding the button, it's doing something, and that's because it's being modulated by the sample and hold. This cable here. And if I play that, I've recorded in straight 16ths. Nice and metallic with a cool little rhythm. Then we've got the kick. And there's nothing modulating this at all. And I've no idea at all why when I touch the connector on the bass sound, it's affecting the kick sound. I can only imagine it's got something to do with the electrical resistance of my body, and if I'm touching one and the other, it's changing the resistance, something like that. And interestingly enough, when I was setting this patch up, it was doing something slightly different. So it just shows that while you're trying to make these patches and trying to replicate stuff, it's more about learning it as an instrument than setting up specific tones, because it really is quite variable. I say bass, I'm using it more like a bit of a siren in this. But what we've got here is 2 things being modulated by the LFO. And this is where I talk about the clips and the fact that we've got the clips and the crocodile clips. It means that you can connect 2 things at the same time. One's modulating the warp and one's modulating the tuning. And you'll notice we've got a delay on that, and this green cable here goes all the way around to the delay input. Should really have used the shorter cable. So that goes from there to the delay input, and then we attenuate it, which means we're just sort of changing the level of it going into the delay, and this cable here comes all the way around to the delay. And then I've got the separate delay out, as I said earlier, and that's coming from here round to here. So that covers almost all the cables. The last ones to look at are just these ones up in the top left-hand corner. And what we've got here is a reset. So take the reset off, just play everything. We're getting 2 bars. It's quite nice actually, but I'm resetting it every bar. And this black cable in the top left is taking a 16th from the clock, and I'm using that to play the hi-hat as well. If I put that in here. So that's not the pre-programmed loop, that's this one. And that's the same rhythm as the one that's recorded. But it's a much shorter pulse, and it's a much shorter pulse because I'm putting it through this little function here. If I take it direct from the clock, it's much longer because it's a pulse, 50% pulse, whereas through this thing, it becomes much, much tighter. And I'm just using that so that I can change it from tight to sort of wide in the performance. And up here we've also got the timing of the sample and hold, so this is coming out at 16th at the minute. If we put that hi-hat back in, we put that onto a 4th, for example. So even though it looks really complex, there's only actually a couple of modulation routines going on there. Sample and hold into the hi-hat and the LFO into the bass, and then the rest of it's just timing and then outputs. So not as complicated as it looks.